What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. What a wild day. In this video, I want to cover a couple important factors happening in the market. We're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's earnings call, and then I also want to take a deep dive into exactly what happened with AMC today. So let's get right into it. First off, the Senate had passed the infrastructure package. We knew that more than likely it was going to at least pass through the Senate. Monday morning pre-market, I alerted to the group a couple EV and charging station plays that have all had some nice gains from yesterday and today. Biden had also published that he wants 50% of vehicles sold by 2030 to be electronic vehicles. Very, very good for that sector. Next thing I want to mention, which I didn't cover in my last video, is the student loan payment suspension is now continued all the way until January. And why this is good for the market is because millennials or fresh college graduates who still have student loans make up a very large portion of consumer spending. So while they might not be a group that is pumping tons of money into the market rather than paying their student loans, they're the individuals that'll spend money on clothes, entertainment, travel, restaurants, and so forth, really keeping the economy going. So in the short term, it is very good for the market. Let's get into AMC earnings. First of all, it was a very good earnings call to be on. I've only been on maybe about a dozen of them throughout my time investing, and what I heard was very good. This AMC has never been a fundamentals play. It's always been a squeeze play, and it still is a squeeze play. However, when the fundamentals begin to back up the valuation a little bit more, it just makes more sense and is better for the stock. Their cash burn that I talked about was going to be very important, a decrease. They still have the same amount of cash on hand, and that's probably why you saw the price jump up after hours, as well as crushing their expectations across the board. It's exactly the biggest reasons why it jumped after hours. Now let's jump over to the charts, and as we are down about 6% right now, I want to take a look and explain to everyone exactly what happened. So as you can see here, we closed about 33.80, and you can see what happened about 10:30 and 11:30 this morning. It hung around that 33.80, which was the previous close. Monster moves pre-market after hours cooled off a little bit, jump up all the way to 38.24. It was to no surprise. This happens all the time, whether you're investing in AMC or just looking to gain more knowledge about the market. This happens all the time. When there is a big run up after hours or pre-market leading into the next day, this is what's called the open flush, a large sell-off happening as soon as it opens. That's profit taking. It's natural. I wouldn't say that's really shorting happening at that point. If you can see what happened here later on in the day, that's when the shorts most likely added to their position. So let's take a look at the daily chart. And I want to explain to everyone exactly what a gap fill is. And it might be hard to see on this because the gap was filled. What happens, what a gap fill is when a price closes the day before and it's a sharp increase or decrease to the open of the next day, meaning if it closes at 33.80, not including after hours or pre-market, and it opens at, let's just say 36.80, there's a $3 gap fill. You can see it on the chart. One of my biggest plays that I've announced to everybody in the group was this one here of Pinterest. It hasn't really broken that level of resistance, which I'll explain to you in a moment. But as you can see, as I zoom in right here, there's a massive gap on the daily chart. Naturally, stocks like to fill the gap. It's also close the market, guys. It's also much more important to close a down gap, as you can see right here, looking at Pinterest to close, or another one I alerted to the group, which was right here, which would have been Activision, which is this gap's right here, which it already has closed. AMC was looking to close that gap. The gap began, okay, the top of the gap, which would be at market open, right around that $37 point. So there's a gap between $37 and $38. And after the morning open flush right here, I wouldn't count that because you're looking at this on just like a 1 minute chart. But after that morning open flush, if it wasn't able to regain above that $37 mark, that's what's known as inside the gap. And when it becomes inside the gap and it can actually hold on a little bit longer of a time frame, whether it's a 10-minute, even 30-minute time frame. 1 minute, 5 minute really isn't long enough. Even maybe 10 minutes might be a little bit short, but definitely 30 minutes or 1 hour. If it hangs into that, more than likely it is going to what is known as fill the gap. And to fill the gap, we got down to that 33.80 level. And as you can see, it bounced through. And the bulls were right there scooping it up, ready to get it in. Got another push up to 35, and that's when the shorts jumped on. They borrowed a massive amounts of shares yesterday, jumped on. I'm going to be waiting to see what is reported by Ortex in the coming days, because we know it is delayed, just to see exactly what happened yesterday. But by staring at enough charts, and even if you haven't stared at enough charts, just by staring at AMC charts, classic shorting going into here. Very, very, very slow. You can take a peek at the level 2s to see exactly what happens and know that it's 100% shorting. So guys, that's exactly what happened today. Going into tomorrow, we're sitting about on a little bit longer of a time frame, about that $32 level of support. If you can see what happened today, which was pretty wild, we bounced all the way up to the 50 moving average, touched off of it and went all the way back down, and have now closed at the 100 moving average, which not only is the 100 moving average a strong level of support, also that $32 level has been another strong level of support. As you can see, we've bounced off it numerous times. Still looking for the RSI and the MACD to kind of curl up. We could jump over here on the 4-hour chart and take away the after hours, because I have them on here. I was looking at the 1-hour chart and just see that we are still bouncing off. It looks like hopefully we can try to keep that 50 moving average above the 100 moving average. And as you can see on the 4-hour chart, there still is a bit of a bullish uptrend. So I wanted to just jump on here and explain to you everything that had happened. If you're interested in learning more about gap fills or finding plays that are insanely oversold, or in this case, like I showed you, which would have been Activision or Pinterest, we're still waiting for Pinterest to get above that 60-80 level. When it breaks above that 60-80 level, it more than likely will fill that entire gap, especially if the market stays bullish. One that I am waiting on. I did take a position. I am red on. I will be honest with you. But if you're interested in learning more about that, first link in the description, come check it out. We'd love to have you. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.